And a very pleasant good evening from the Ching Volleyball Beach Courts on the UH Manoa campus. It's Hawaii taking on the University of Nebraska. Hi, everybody. Scott Robbs, along with Lisa Strand. And Lisa, you see Hawaii, Nebraska, big time when they're indoor. It's big time outdoors as well. Nebraska comes here every year now. This is their 4th year of the program, but a little different than a couple of nights ago for Hawaii. They have flip-flops their flights.
They sure have. So Katie Spieler and her partner Emily Maglio, warming up right behind her, have moved down to the position number 2 spot, as well as Nebraska switching their number 1 and number 2 as well. So a little bit of a lineup change, but let's remember Nebraska, the defending national indoor champions, visiting here this evening.
Now, earlier this past week when we had Hawaii USC, their team is strictly beach volleyball players. Much different at Nebraska. They're all indoor players. It's like cross-training for them, a 2-week season.
Their season is very, very limited. Most all their athletes are indoor players, and yes, it's a very short season. They will finish up after tonight here. They will leave and head to the mainland and play in Los Angeles, 4 more teams, and then their season is officially over.
Alrighty, now let's welcome the 3rd member of our broadcast crew. Of course, it's Ryan Kalei-Suji.
Hey, thanks, guys. Well, it's a comfortable 77 degrees here in Manoa. There's a little bit of gust, which could potentially impact the players when serving. Now, this has been a long week for the Rainbow Wahine. Of course, we saw the Wahine here playing USC on Tuesday. They've also participated in other matches against LMU, again against USC, all day yesterday and throughout the week. The indoor players played against Iowa State on Friday night. And believe it or not, after the match tonight, the players will get on a red-eye flight and head over to Florida. Jeff Hall says that this is the way that they designed the schedule to test Hawaii early on in this preseason to help prepare them for the postseason. Now, also in talking with Coach Hall, he says the strategy for tonight, it's all about their side of the net. They're going to be targeting the middle of the court with their serves and hope to get some players in some better position to score points in a better, more efficient manner. We'll send it back up to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Ryan. Time now for the Hawaiian FCU starting lineups. Let's look at all 5 flights for Nebraska, starting from the bottom up. And you see Flight 2 and Flight 1. Those will be the ones that we'll see on television. Flight 2 coming up first, Amber Rolfzen and Justine Wong-Orantes, and then Katie Rolfzen, the twin sister, and Hunter Atherton. And for the University of Hawaii, their starting lineup, we'll go with at least in Flight 2. We'll see Katie Spieler. There you see the rest of them. Flight 5 all the way up to number 1. And Flight number 2, Katie Spieler, Emily Maglio coming up next. And then our featured match, Nikki Taylor and Lara Schreiber. They have moved from Flight 2 to Flight 1 this past weekend. Actually, they did it yesterday, and Jeff Hall liked it. He's going to carry it over to tonight's matchup against the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. Well, Jeff Hall in his 4th year with the University of Hawaii. And of course, you look at John Cook. He's been with the program indoor for a number of years. And they kind of take, and we mentioned this, there you see Jeff Hall, about Nebraska's approach to the beach. Because they're in the middle of the country, there aren't a lot of programs there. It's really just for cross-training for a couple of weeks.
Well, absolutely. And John Cook, 16 years. 3 national championships. This guy is the real deal. He trains these young ladies, and he looks to the sand or beach volleyball team to really, just like you shared, Scott, earlier, it's a training tool for them. They get to get out, get in the sand, have some fun, work a very, very short season, and yet at the same time, he likes the cross-training.
So John Cook comes out to Hawaii, gets a little beach, a little sun, and then they'll head over to California and then head back to the Midwest. So Hawaii and Nebraska, you know, one thing about these 2 programs when it comes to the indoor game, they're both number 1 and number 2 in the country in attendance. The fans in Lincoln love their volleyball as much as the fans in Manoa, and their fans are very similar to Hawaii fans, extremely knowledgeable, and polite is a good word to use.
Well, that's exactly it. They're knowledgeable, but they are just so strong. They actually had the largest NCAA record crowd this year. 17,000 people played for the national championship, and they won it. Again, they're the defending national champions.
Yeah, they swept the University of Texas. We're underway here from the Ching Beach Volleyball Courts. Rolfzen over to Wong-Orantes, dug up by Maglio, bumped up near the net to Emily, takes a big swing and gets it down and gets Hawaii going here in the opening set.
And again, Katie Spieler, you could hear her yelling, "No one, no one, no one." Great communication to Emily Maglio, who is really turning it on her freshman year in the sand.
Keep in mind, they played a 21, best 2 out of 3. Wong-Orantes pokies it cross court, gets it to fall in front of Spieler, and you play 5 matches. Best 3 out of 5 is the team that wins this dual meet.
And 3 of those matches have already been played this evening, and this is the 4th of the day.
Maglio in the middle, good tap down by Katie Spieler.
Little pokey shot there, the set a little tight, and Katie bettering the ball. She's got great court vision, and she sees that the defenders were holding back with no blocker.
By the way, Hawaii's up 2-1 against Nebraska, so win right here would assure Hawaii of a victory in this duel. Orantes Wong from the right side, dug up by Maglio. Ken Spieler played off the net. She tried, but could not. Of course, Katie Spieler out of Santa Barbara, ABCA All-American, and the niece of you.
That's right. So great to see her here, her senior year, just moving things around. She's had a couple of different partners so far due to the unfortunate injury of Heather Boylan.
There's a big swing by Maglio, and she puts it down. It has been a busy week for the Rainbow Wahine, outside and indoors as well, as we take a look at this kill by Maglio, who looks like she's getting more and more comfortable on the sand with each passing dual meet. But they had the match against USC, and then of course the indoor match on Friday, yesterday, and Saturday at Queens, and here on Sunday wrapping things up. Pretty busy. Pokey, diving dig, save. Can Maglio take advantage? She does.
And Maglio making it look real easy right now. She is 6'3", and she's what we call a big player. And look at her defense. She gets down on that, then she's got to get back up and attack the ball. Some spectacular defense.
Here comes Spieler, and her serve goes into the net. So at the 7-point mark, the teams, they switch sides. And so now let's take a look at the Kaiser Permanente keys to the match.
And for UH, they're going to focus on finishing strong. And when I say that, they've been playing a ton of volleyball. They've just got to stay strong. It's been a very long week. And for Nebraska, creating options. This team has not played a lot of sand volleyball. And they've just got to serve tough. They've got to hit over on 2. They've got to do little sneaky things to get their points in.
And it seems like now dropping down to flight number 2, Spieler and Maglio much more comfortable. Yesterday, they beat the flight number 2 of USC.
They had a great match yesterday down at Queens. They beat the number 2 team of USC in a 3-game battle. That means they played 3 games total, and it was just a dogfight, but it was a huge victory for them.
Spieler may be only 5'5", but does she have great defense? There's an example, the diving save. The Cornhuskers will try it again. Rolfzen off the hands of the block and gets it to fall down. But terrific defense by Katie Spieler, the smallest player on the court.
And she's just so experienced. She's played so much volleyball from being a very young girl. But what I like about the lineup here before us, that what we're seeing is we're seeing bigs and littles. You're seeing one smaller player on both sides of the courts and one bigger player on both sides of the court. So the matchup is really a great matchup.
But does Spieler have any option other than to play volleyball in the family she grew up in? She had no choice, did she?
No choice. The youngest of 3, her sister Kara, played at Tufts University in Boston. And she just was toted along to the beach every day.
Line drive serve, Rolfzen over to Wong-Orantes, and she gets it in down the line. Nice job by Wong-Orantes, who's one of the few players from Nebraska that has a background in beach volleyball.
That's right. She's got a lot of experience, and she sees the court very well. Indoors, she's a libero at 5'6". She is a senior, but she has played with some of the best players, as well as Sarah Hughes from USC that we just saw here this past week.
Played with April Ross, who will probably represent the USA in the Olympics in a couple of months in Rio. So we're tied at 6 here in the opening set, Hawaii and Nebraska. Orantes Wong floats it over. Spieler, Maglio, back to Spieler, pokes it over. Kept alive momentarily by Rolfzen, but trying to go up near the net and save it is Wong-Orantes. She cannot.
And Hawaii with some really great ball control right now, and Nebraska just hanging in there. Great side-out volleyball from both sides right now.
The serve, Rolfzen, again Wong, and she does a good job getting it off the hands of Maglio. All right, let's take a look now at the series record. It is sponsored by Aston Hotels and Resorts, and Hawaii leads the series 3-0. Hawaii won last year on a match televised right here on OC Sports, won it in 5.
That's right, they're back. And again, this is Nebraska's 4th year competing in sand volleyball. They have their own indoor court. Yes, it's a little cold in Nebraska, so they had an indoor beach volleyball court built to train on.
And you can actually watch it on YouTube. It's pretty interesting. There's a nice shot by Spieler. Good recovery by the Cornhuskers, and then Maglio trying to play it off the net, can't get it over.
And that's exactly what we talked about in just the keys to the match, doing some option plays. You're going to see Amber Rolfzen try to attack the ball more often on 2.
First lead for Nebraska at 8, serving 7. Maglio, good high pass. Bumped up back to Megs. Megs pokies it. Nobody there. Gets it to fall. And there, let's take a look. This is that indoor court. I love the background on the wall there. See the door where they can come in. There's only one sand court in that building, but they try to make it feel comfortable, you know, with the beach painting mural on the wall. It's kind of cool. And they actually had their first match a couple of weeks ago at home against Missouri Baptist. It didn't count, my understanding is, because Missouri Baptist is an NAIA school, but still, they got a chance to play at home. As you can imagine, this time of year, hard to play outside, I would imagine.
And with only one court, it's probably all day and half the night.
There are actually rules. I think you have to have 2 courts to make it a legal match. You have to have spectators. There were not spectators there, and you can only play indoors if, for some reason, the outdoor elements won't allow you to play there. Bumped up Orantes Wong. She's going to be roofed by Maglio. 6-3 against 5-6, and 6-3 wins.
Almost all the time. I don't think she saw Maglio. She snuck up on her, and that was just a great block by Maglio, taking that ball and shoving it back down.
Spieler, nice serve. Rolfzen back to Orantes. Wong, one-hand dig attempt by Maglio, but it goes off her left arm and out of bounds. And there's a good look at Justine Wong-Orantes.
A little bit of revenge there. She got stuff block on that last play. And that play, you see Maglio dropping off the net, choosing not to block, and Orantes Wong just swinging down the line.
Good set, taking advantage. This Spieler, but a good diving save by Nebraska. Diving dig by Maglio. She gets back up, hammers it cross court. It's dug, and it goes over and out of bounds. An overpass out of bounds, but a good dig there in the back row by the indoor libero, Wong-Orantes.
Wong-Orantes reading that like a book. And also, again, Maglio playing some great defense.
Well, Wong-Orantes was a 3rd-team All-American this past year for indoor volleyball, and her teammate Amber Rolfzen as a middle blocker, 2nd-team All-American. It's going to be pushed over in second contact, and then colliding are the 2 Hawaii players. All righty, we'll take a break. It's set number 1. Hawaii up by a point. Welcome back. Set number 1, flight number 2. Hawaii leading Nebraska 11-10.
And it may look like there is actually a little bit of mist coming in, but that's actually the sand that's being dusted up into the air. There's actually a little bit of wind that's coming down here on the sand, coming from Malka to Makai. So we'll see if these gusts continue to build up, how that's going to impact the game itself.
All right, thanks a lot, Ryan. Don't forget, make the dream of education a reality for our student athletes. Visit HawaiiAthletics.com and click on the donate button in the Ahahui Koa Nui Nui banner. 12-10 Hawaii. And there you get a good look at Katie Spieler. She's in graduate school. Gets to serve over. Bumped up to Orantes Wong. She looks for the opening, and she gets it in the corner.
And again, that beach experience, she sees the court very, very well, and she's slicing and dicing the ball. This is what we call a high line shot. She just nabs that line.
See the line judge, Ian Green, in the background. Maglio bumps it to Spieler. She aims for the back row. Doesn't matter. Goes off the hands of Rolfzen and out of bounds.
And again, there's that high line. This game is so much a game of ball control and visual. You have to be able to see the court and put it obviously where your defenders are not.
Mags will serve. Orantes Wong. She goes for the back row, gets it down. So both teams kind of taking advantage of the players coming up a bit, aiming for that back line and getting it inside.
And what you'll notice is that the smaller players are the ones that are being served right now. So they're the ones that are having to side out.
Spieler, Maglio. Spieler pokies it down the right side over the block. Good job getting it over the top of the block and down behind Rolfzen.
And again, just keeping the set a little bit off of the net. There, Katie just goes what they call down the line. Let's see if they mix it up a little bit here and change up who they're serving.
Well, so far, it's been the little ones. There's a nice hit off of Maglio.
And what you're going to notice is that Wong-Orantes, if Maglio does not block, she is going to go after her defensively. She's kind of like picking on her, if you will.
Well, both these teams saw each other play this past weekend at Queens, or this weekend actually at Queens. See what Maglio does. Gets it over. Nice dig. Rolfzen is going to be blocked. Saves it. Bump back to Rolfzen. See what happens here. She takes a big swing. Dug up by Spieler. Maglio back to Spieler. Spieler goes cross court. Katsu.
And that was a very well-executed rally by both teams. Taking a look back, you can see Spieler seeing and actually taking a full swing on the ball. Earlier this evening, she's been doing what we call shots and slicing and dicing it up, but this time she takes a full swing.
Well, talking to Jeff Hall before tonight's matchups, and he feels that both this match and the one that will follow in flight number one are going to both be very competitive, and so far he's been right. Hawaii up by a deuce. Maglio serving. Hawaii going from right to left. Back to Wong-Orantes. She will get it off the hands of the block and down.
That time there, Hawaii doing a switch, blocking Emily Maglio, trying to take away cross court, releasing Katie Spieler to the line digging position. So Hawaii doing some different looks with their blocking.
Good look right there. Nice camera.
The great angle.
Rolfzen floats it over. Spieler. Maglio. She reaches up and puts it down.
Maglio with nobody up on her, very unassuming. She does not drive to the ball quite as explosively as one would expect, but she does such a nice job of placing the ball.
Mag's already with 7 kills, 16-14 Hawaii. Spieler with the good serve. Rolfzen, the bump set. Dug up by Maglio. Back to Megs. Megs goes down the left line, money.
And that's the great dig. Emily Maglio making the adjustment, dropping and knowing that Wong-Orantes was going to try to go high line over her head and digging that ball and transitioning for a point.
So 17-14 Hawaii as the two teams will switch sides. We're at the every 7 points combined, the teams switch sides, and I guess that's because to make it more fair with weather conditions outside.
Absolutely. There's usually a good side, and again, we feel the wind picking up just a little bit, but you got to remember, most games are not played at nighttime with beach volleyball. They're daytime, so they've got the sun normally as well. The earlier flights had a lot of sun, and there was definitely a side with an advantage.
Well, we got a chance to talk to head coach of Nebraska, John Cook, about Hawaii and how much he enjoys it here.
There's two places in the United States that really respect and admire volleyball. I mean, it's in the DNA of the people. I mean, I go all around Hawaii and people know who I am. Hey, coach. So, the two places are Hawaii and Nebraska. And so, to me, this reminds me a lot of Nebraska. Volleyball is a very big deal. And for our girls to come here, I mean, and people here really respect the game. People know volleyball. They're really into it. And again, for our girls, I mean, they love it. They get so excited about 2 weeks out before we come on this trip because, it's one of the highlights of the year.
Cook, the head coach of Nebraska, talking about the similarities in terms of the love of the sport. And Ryan and I have both been fortunate enough to travel with the Rainbow Wahine to Nebraska a couple of times, and absolutely correct. It reminds you of home in the way, at least the support and the love of the sport. Here comes Spieler, pokies it over, dug up by Rolfzen. Back to Rolfzen up near the net, the pokey off the block and down.
And Nebraska getting a little break there with the short pokey by Amber, one of the twins, Rolfzen, a 6'3". She plays a middle blocker indoors. She is a senior.
For those watching for the first time, you can't have an open hand when you're at the net.
That's right. There's no open hand dinking out here in beach volleyball. There's also no overhand serve receive. You will never see the first contact taken in an overhand position from serve receive.
Well, Hawaii's starting to get a little separation here in this opening stanza. 2 points away. Maglio, line drive serve to Wong-Orantes. Will take it. Dug up by Megs. Spieler. Maglio. Finds the puka in the back row. She looked before she swung at that one and saw where the defender was and just hit the ball on the other side.
You know, it's smart, and again, Maglio doing a really nice job making the adjustment of dropping back on defense, overhand digging, and then just going high down that line.
So set point for Hawaii here in the opening set. As Maglio walked behind the tape of the end line and serve it up for the Rainbow Wahine. Hawaii up 2 matches to 1 so far against Nebraska. Gets the serve over. Rolfzen on the second contact, hits it over, dug up by Spieler. Back to Spieler. What will she do? She'll go down the back line into the back row. Gets it to fall, and Hawaii claims set number 1 by the score of 21-15.
OC Sports, presented on Oceanic Time Warner Cable, is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii and Kaiser Permanente.
Well, Hawaii takes the opening set in Flight 2 against Nebraska, 21-15. When we come back, we'll have set number 2. It's the Cornhuskers and the Rainbow Wahine.
Find the perfect gift for every occasion at Big Island Candies. Visit them in Hilo at Ala Moana Center or click on BigIslandCandies.com to view their entire collection and place your order today.
And we're back at the Ching Beach Volleyball Complex. Scott and Lisa. Hi, everybody. This is our perch where we get a look down and see all the action going on. Impressive opening set for the Hawaii tandem of Spieler and Maglio. It was tight up until about 14 or 15, and then they pulled away.
They broke away. You know, it was tight. Both teams playing good volleyball, some nice rallies going on, but I think a little bit more experience with Maglio and Spieler. They're starting to look more and more comfortable with one another as a team.
And the mentality coming from Jeff Hall, talking to his players, is saying just continue to put the pressure on Nebraska. They're going to get tired. They're going to get worn out. We have to come out and continue to fight.
Wind picking up now, and you can see the ball moving a bit as Rolfzen puts it down, but we had a little gust. And you can see the ball as it went towards the net kind of blow closer to the net.
And you can take a look at a knuckler over the top of the block. Again, just getting a little bit higher than the block at the time.
Big swing by Maglio, but she misses.
Going to be interesting to see if Nebraska switches it up a little bit.
They called a touch on Rolfzen. I didn't see it, but the upper ref said touch called. She doesn't agree with that.
She definitely doesn't agree with it, so she's questioning the ref, who is actually still wearing sunglasses.
Oh, he's cool.
Well, maybe those night lights are kind of right. I'm not really sure.
Rolfzen will poke it over. Maglio right there. Back to Megs. Rolls it. One-arm dig. Kept alive. Wong-Orantes Wong. Dug up by Maglio. Spieler will bump it up near the net. Megs punches it over. Cornhuskers. Rolfzen. Big swing. And she goes cross-court and out of bounds. That was a good rally right there.
That was a good rally, and Nebraska asking for a touch on that one, trying to get something back.
Can't hurt to ask.
That's right. Well, you know, sometimes you can actually persuade the refs to change their minds.
Serve down the left side. Wong-Orantes Wong. Maglio, one-arm dig. Terrific. Spieler. Maglio pokies it over and down.
And it's almost like a deja vu. Wong-Orantes Wong just keeps going down that line, and Emily Maglio has made a great adjustment here on her one-arm dig right back to the center of the court, and then she goes down the line again.
Dave showed you might want to think about moving Maglio to the outside for indoor volleyball. She's showing great skill.
Well, this beach game, let me tell you, is going to really help improve her indoor game, and she's just going to get better and better.
Speak of the devil, there's the Godfather, Dave Shoji.
Got a couple of his players out here. The indoor girls.
2 serving 3. Serve gets over. Spieler, diving dig by Wong-Orantes Wong, who will then free it over. Here comes UH. Spieler chases it down, bumps it to Maglio, and she finds a way again to get it down. Time now to check out how it works, presented by Central Pacific Bank.
Well, here the set coming over the back of her shoulder. No blocker up, but a little tight, so she uses the pokey and goes over with 2 extended knuckles on the ball. That is how it works.
How did they come up with that term, pokey?
You know, that I don't know if there's a volleyball dictionary or etiquette, but
Somewhere, probably.
that is the terminology for that. It's called a pokey.
Maglio back to Spieler. Spieler cross court, dug up, and it goes over and down in the back row. Smart play by Wong-Orantes. That was on purpose, right? Because she saw nobody in the back row.
Oh, absolutely. There is no rule that says you have to play 3 contacts in volleyball, and it's a smart play. She saw open court and put it over. Instant point and momentum change. It gets in the opponent's heads when you start shooting balls like that. It's very frustrating.
Well, both these teams played Loyola Marymount and USC yesterday. Both beat LMU and both lost to USC. Nice swing and a put down by Maglio. Hawaii won all 5 matches against LMU, lost 3-2 to USC. Nebraska lost all 5 to USC and won 4-1 against the Lions.
And it was a hot day down at Queens Beach, let me tell you. But again, Katie Spieler and Emily Maglio had a great win over USC's #2 team, and I think that's just going to propel them into tonight's match, of course, and into the rest of the season.
Serve goes too far. So a point for Nebraska. This is kind of reminiscent of the opening set in which Hawaii won 21-15. It was tight early, and late into the set, Hawaii pulled away. Remember, it's best 2 out of 3. If it does go to a third set, they play to 15. Maglio, one-on-one off the block. Rolfzen keeps it alive. Wong-Orantes slaps it over. Maglio takes a swing, and she will be roofed by Rolfzen.
And Rolfzen at 6'3", you know, it's a good matchup. Big and big at the net. Maglio with a set over, coming from behind her. Very difficult to see the block on that play.
That serve floats long. So Hawaii regains the advantage. There's a good look at Amber Rolfzen. We'll see her twin sister in the next matchup, Katie. Amber with the bump. Justine Pokies dug up by Spieler. Hit knocked over. Nice job by Maglio. Good recognition by Emily.
Yeah, and that's what this team has been trying to do more of, what they call a 2-contact. Katie Spieler read that like a book. Her dig is really high, and she's yelling at Mag, swing, swing.
Well, Spieler reads a lot of books. She's a honor student. On the overpass, does Maglio put it down? Yes, she does.
And Nebraska again asking the up ref if Maglio was actually over the net.
Make the call, Lisa.
Take a look. It sure looks like she was. Her hand was completely over that. And so Wong-Orantes is up there, you know, saying, hey, I disagree. I need to talk to you about this.
Maybe it's the shades.
And, you know, it might be, but you know what? I love that she's questioning it. She's fighting for her point.
Rolfzen, Wong-Orantes, one-on-one, and the block by Megs. Emily Maglio with the solo roof. And Hawaii on a 4-0 scoring run now after these two were tied at 5. And there you see other members of the team. Let's take a look at this block again, Lisa.
Maglio's starting to really get comfortable at the net. She's just a huge force. And it's, again, that size thing. Wong-Orantes at 5'6", going against Maglio at 6'3".
So Hawaii will be serving into the wind now, if you will. Rolfzen, Wong-Orantes. Nice dig up by Hawaii. Bumped up to Maglio. One-on-one, hits it into the net. Maybe got a little spooked when she saw the block forming right there from Rolfzen.
Yeah, that was, again, a tough set coming over her from behind her. And it's a big block as well. She's playing some great defense, though. She's pulling, dropping off of the net, and really controlling that first contact.
Spieler. The back row dug up. Orantes Wong pokies it. Diving one-hand dig attempt by Spieler. But interesting, you saw Rolfzen go to the back row instead of playing up at the net.
Yeah, she decided to pull off. They're going to have to switch things up in order to make some points here. And that's exactly what Wong-Orantes does. She's been going high line all night long, and now she's choosing to go short.
Serve gets over. Spieler up to Megs and goes down the left side, but it goes wide. So go out of bounds. 9-8 Hawaii leads Nebraska. And both teams will go back to their respective benches. If you're Jeff Hall right now, what are you talking to the girls about?
Well, he's just trying to take this little break. And again, the players actually have to call the timeout. But he's talking specifically with Mags about her offense, most likely, and what's open. Because their ball control has been really well, but working well. But there's some unforced errors that's allowing Nebraska right back in this match.
You know, I find it really interesting in beach volleyball that the players call the timeout, because as we know, in collegiate sports, most coaches are control freaks, and the coach in beach volleyball doesn't have any say in that. He can recommend it, maybe like, this is a good time, but it's up to the players to say, all right, coach, we'll call a timeout here, or they could just ignore it.
Well, again, it's a different game than indoor, and you got to love that the players have to own up and realize when the momentum's changing and when they need a break. They're the ones on the court feeling the shift in momentum or making some errors, and maybe it's time to say, hey, coach, what's happening? What do you see? We need some help.
The Hawaii coaching staff talking to their players about ball control and also blocking schemes. Look for Hawaii to do more switch blocking, meaning Emily Maglio will be taking more cross court and releasing Kaylee Spieler to the line.
Thank you, Ryan. Back to action. Spieler bumps it up to Maglio, and she pokies it over the block and down.
And that's really all she has to do is keep that ball in play and in front of her.
It's a pokey roll shot. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, there's no open hand dinking out here, so that's maybe where the pokey came from,
Could
right?
be. Rolfzen, Wong-Orantes back to her. And a big shot there by Amber Rolfzen.
And there you see a little fight in her. That's, I think, the hardest hit ball that she's done so far this evening. The All-American, showing why and how she helped her team win a national championship.
She looked like a middle hitter, taking a big whack at it like she did indoors right there. And there's a big swing by Hawaii's middle, but it goes long by Maglio.
And look to Nebraska to keep going after Emily Maglio. She's had a couple of unforced errors, and that's what they're trying to break her down.
Third tie in this second set. Hawaii won the opener 21-15. Maglio off the block, and it kind of threw off the direction as Wong-Orantes went to try to dig it up. All righty, we'll take a break. Set number 2. Hawaii up 1-0. All right, Lisa, explain this, because watch Maglio right here. She has the open hand with the shot.
She does. This is a roll shot. It looks like it's a dink, which is not allowable in sand volleyball, but she has to get under it. So the contact point is up and over, and she breaks her wrist. So it's what we call a roll shot.
During that timeout, the Nebraska coaching staff talking to their players specifically about recognizing when to pull. He's saying that they're not doing a good job of really pulling off the net on the offsets by Hawaii. So look for Nebraska to be a little more strategic when leaving an open net when Hawaii is attacking.
Wong-Orantes pops it over. Spieler bumps it. Maglio pokies it down the line. It hits the line. That's in. That's a point.
And again, Maglio reading Orantes. Wong, just like a book. She has hit that down the line shot so often. I'm surprised actually that she hasn't made an adjustment and went more for like a cut shot or cross court.
A little bit of a breeze at the back of Hawaii. Rolfzen bumps it up near the net. Pokey kept alive by Maglio. Bumped over by Spieler. Nice recognition again by Katie Spieler. Such a smart volleyball player.
And you know what she did on that play? She really took the pressure off of Maglio. She didn't set her with the blocker already standing at the net. She's making the blocker be honest. She's holding her.
That almost seems unfair. It really does.
Well, that's experience is what that is. Court vision.
All those years of playing on the sand in Santa Barbara. Here's Spieler. Nice receive by Wong. Pokies it. Diving dig by Spieler. Kept alive by Maglio. And then finding the back right corner is Spieler. Another high IQ shot.
And that's got to be the play of the game so far. Talk about staying with the ball. It trickles over the top of the net. And Spieler laying it all out. Maglio right there with her. Spieler just great placement.
And not only that, it's hard to play a ball off the net. We see it right there by Hawaii again. And again, Hawaii will take advantage of their defense and score a point on offense.
And not only that, that was Maglio on defense. So she's reading the ball extremely well, laying it out. And yes, you can play this ball off of the net.
And this will be our Fujitsu air conditioning cool play of the match. And why not? That was outstanding. Take a look at this again. And think about the conditioning these athletes have to be in. Not only are you playing in sand, and anybody who has walked in sand knows how difficult that can be, but they're running back and forth, jumping, getting back up, having to move from the back to the front row. It's taxing on your body.
It is amazingly taxing. You have to be in such great physical shape. And, you know, this match being played right now is under the night lights and the cool Manoa air. Earlier today, it wasn't like that. And yesterday down at Queens Beach, it was so hot that all the players were wearing sand socks. All of them. A couple of them said they already have blisters on their feet.
All right, time now for the Jack Fact. And the Jack Fact is Hawaii will compete for the inaugural Big West Championship on April 29th and 30th at Huntington Beach in California. Rainbow Wahine, Cal Poly, Bakersfield, CSUN, Long Beach State, and Sacramento State. So the winner of that championship will get an automatic bid to the national championships in Alabama.
We gotta love the student section here. We gotta get some more people out here. They're gonna rally everybody and try to get them to start cheering for their team.
Rolfzen on the second contact, puts it over, dug up, and then on the second contact, Maglio gets it over, saved by Nebraska, poking in the back row, but a tad bit too long. Good job on both sides of the net by Hawaii and Nebraska, but Wong-Orantes just taps it too long.
Scrambling, some great defense, and maybe the wind pushed that out just a little bit, but Nebraska also really fighting right now.
Hawaii up a set and leading 16-10. Wong-Orantes. Diving dig by Spieler. Back to Katie. Katie goes to her right. One dig by Rolfzen. Bumped up, and it's going to be an overpass. Knocked over by Hawaii, then bumped over by Wong-Orantes. Here comes Spieler. Can she put it away? She can. Hit it high enough that it made Rolfzen at 6'3" jump up, extend that right hand, but couldn't pop it up.
Again, that's like a jumbo shrimp back to that deep corner, face full of sand for Rolfzen.
Second contact, it's going to go off the block, off the hands of Maglio. Now the two teams will switch over, switch sides. Well, we're talking about the conditioning yesterday and Friday. They played at Queens, and then, of course, Hawaii had the dual match on Tuesday against USC. A lot of these players are indoor players for Hawaii, so they're in the midst of their training camp. They had a match Friday night against Iowa State. They will be ready for tonight to conclude and begin their spring break and kind of relax before they head to Florida, where they can play a bunch of matches.
Yeah, they go on the red-eye flight tomorrow night, all night.
That's enough time between tonight and tomorrow night.
Just enough to pack and, you know.
Yeah, they'll head to DeLand, Florida, where they'll play a number of matches in a short period of time as well.
Like most of these teams that were out here this week, it's their spring break. And for Nebraska, this is their 9-day road trip, which is basically their entire season.
Maglio is going to be blocked. That looked like he got the line. We'll see what the referee decides.
It sure does. And one of the great benefits of sand volleyball, and what you're going to notice, is that the ball mark can actually identify in or out. So
I thought it was a block. I thought it was in. See him taking a look.
Coming down off the stand, verifying the call.
That is kind of neat, right? You can just look at the sand and it doesn't lie. It's kind of like instant replay. Now they'll call over the two captains and make them junk in a pole probably. And it appears that it will be a block, and that's the right call.
And you know, these lines, they're black, what we call tape lines, and they're thick. Oftentimes you'll see it jump, but right in that spot, sand is covering that line.
So 13 serving 17. Rolfzen pops it over. Maglio. Back to Maglio. Dug up nicely by Wong-Orantes. He'll try to finish it, but Mags is there. Spieler, Maglio takes a swing at it to her left and out of bounds. Well, we're talking about the Rainbow Wahine heading out tomorrow on the red eye for Florida. They'll play matches Thursday through Saturday. They'll take on Tulane, Stetson, Florida Atlantic, Florida State, who's number 2 in the country, and Florida International. So a lot of those programs are very good in beach volleyball. And a good chance to go to the East Coast and play a different kind of beach volleyball. 4-0 run now for the Huskers. 14 serving 17. Spieler Bumped up left side. Maglio's going to take a big whack. There's the dig by Wong-Orantes. Freed over. Here comes Hawaii once more. What will Maglio do this time? She'll just go cross court and dunks it down.
And you can tell Nebraska really going after Emily Maglio, trying to work her. She's the younger one out here on the court. But Maglio doing a nice job moving the ball around.
And she had limited beach volleyball experience before she came to Manoa, right?
Very limited, and she redshirted last year on the sand team. So this is her first true season of playing sand volleyball.
Aiming for the back line, but missing is Maglio. And you were saying Jeff Hall thinks that she could compete in the Olympics for Canada in this sport.
Well, that's exactly what he shared with me earlier, and Cindy Lewis had a great article last week on Maglio sharing that same information. You know, she is so young in the game, but she could definitely probably work towards that if that's what her will is.
So Hawaii up by 3. They won the opening set, 21-15. It's best 2 out of 3. So if they can take this one, they would win flight number 2, and Hawaii would win the overall duel, still with flight number 1 to be played next.
So the question right now that's come into play is whose serve is it? There's only 2 players, and you usually have a serving rotation. You're either the number 1 server or you're the number 2 server. So it looks like she's the right server.
Spieler to Maglio, off the block, dug up, over, saved by Spieler. Spieler has to get back up. She'll free it into the back row. Rolfzen will turn around, pokey block. Turn around again, and it rolls off the tape and falls in for a point. Good job by Amber Rolfzen.
And again, Rolfzen feeling it here, you know, going over on 2, taking the pressure off of Wong-Orantes, doing a nice job.
You got to watch out. Here come the Huskers. They were down big early, but they're making a great comeback. There's a side slap shot that gets down for Maglio. Good point, a much-needed one for the Rainbow Wahine as the 2 teams switch sides. And I think I just saw Wong-Orantes and Spieler slap hands as they're crossing over.
They probably did. You know, oftentimes that used to be just common. You'd go across under the net and you'd slap each other, give each other, you know, 5. But as the competition is increasing, you don't see that as often.
I like that, though. I think that's cool.
They have a lot of, they see each other on the California coastline playing in summer ball all the time.
Back row shot dug up by Spieler. Spieler will take it off the bump set. Nice save by Rolfzen. Back to Rolfzen. Rolfzen goes left side, and they'll call it out. But then overruled by the down judge, down referee, and it'll be a point for Nebraska.
Nebraska holding on here, closing the gap.
Spieler, the big bump set to Maglio. Rolfzen with the good dig. Rolfzen looking down the line. There's Spieler. Back to Spieler. Goes cross court. Diving dig. Overpass. Spieler will bump it over. Another great diving dig by Wong-Orantes, but Rolfzen can't help it get over the net. But you got to give hats off to Wong-Orantes. 2 great diving dig saves.
You know, she's just a little sand flea over there,
No
and
kidding.
she read that like a book. Her partner tried to better the ball, but just could not finish the deal.
So it's match point for the Hawaii duel of Spieler and Maglio. Wong-Orantes, Rolfzen will hit it over, dug up by Spieler. Back to Spieler, she can end it right here, but dug up by Rolfzen. Rolfzen will take a big whack at it. She hits it into the net, and Hawaii prevails 2-0, taking set number 2, 21-17, after taking the opener 21-15. And look at that one. Again, another dig. And congratulations. There you see the slapping of the hands. We'll be back with more.
Welcome back here to Manoa, where Hawaii is victorious 2-0 over Nebraska, joined now by Katie Spieler and Emily Maglio. Kaylee, we're going to start with you. It's been a long week, a lot of volleyball, a great effort out here tonight. You guys look pretty comfortable out there. Explain what the kind of mood was for both of you.
Well, it was a high-pressure situation. We had to, this was the match to clinch the whole team match over Nebraska, and we thrive in those environments. We love that pressure, and we love that we can bring the win to our team and acknowledge all the other ones that happened in the day, because there's a lot of fighting that goes on before this, so it was great.
Emily, we saw throughout the match that you were actually getting served a lot. How do you handle some of that pressure, knowing that you're going to be picked on maybe because you're sort of the younger player here on the sand? Do you thrive under that pressure? Do you like getting served, received, and being able to score?
Most definitely. I think it's a good chance to work on my game, and I don't know, it's just different being served rather than setting, so it's good.
One of the things that we also notice is you pulling off the block, especially on their smaller player. She was trying to go high line a lot, and you were able to kind of get into a rhythm where you were reading her. How difficult is it to know when to pull and when to stay on, and is this something that you're pretty comfortable with at this point in time?
Now I'm a lot more comfortable doing it, but last year it was a really new experience, and it was really hard to get a handle of, but yeah, I think it's gotten a lot better this year, and I'm more comfortable.
Katie, looking forward, you guys are heading tomorrow to Florida. This is a lot of volleyball in a short amount of time. How are you guys handling the pressure of not only physically, but also the things that you have to do in the classroom and all the other things that go on with this tough part of the schedule?
We have a great athletic trainer to keep our bodies recovered and in shape for that next game. We also have a lot of help in the classroom, so it's working out great. And this is what we need to do right now. We need to grind it out because our record is not perfect right now, so we just want to keep playing, keep getting those wins.
Well, Katie and Emily, best of luck to you on the road and good luck in Florida. Coming up on the other side of this break, we'll have more volleyball here from Manoa as the two top teams for Hawaii and Nebraska will battle it out. Welcome back here to the Clarence T.C. Ching Field. We're going to get to the next matchup between Nebraska and Hawaii. The two top teams coming up in just a little bit. But first, we want to talk to head coach Dave Shoji of the women's indoor team. Dave, you guys just actually came off a spring exhibition match against Iowa. Talk to us about it. How did things go?
Well, I thought we played pretty well for only having 4 days of practice. We had two new lefts, and that's McKenna Granado and Casey Castillo. I thought they played really well. And, Maglio is tough in the middle, and Annie's really good too, and Setter's back, and Nikki's over there on the opposite. So we have a pretty good nucleus.
Speaking of Emily Maglio, talk about her evolution and the way that she has really progressed here on the sand. Looking her past, playing defense, you've got to see the growth not only out here but in the court as well.
Well, when she came in, I always called her a knee bender. That's a term that Kavanaugh, Coach Cav, used to have. He would come into our gym and say, hey, you got a bunch of knee benders, and that's what she is for a middle. She's a knee bender. And so she can get low, she can play defense. She just doesn't get to showcase those skills indoor because she has to come out for the libero. But as you can see, she's got an all-around game. She's just a tremendous player, just blossoming as a person, and more outgoing, and smiling out there. Sometimes she's just transformation's been just unbelievable.
Final question. It's been quite a few weeks here on the UH lower campus with the basketball teams. Unfortunately, didn't pull it off. But what has this experience been like, seeing both the basketball teams doing well and really the sports here on the lower campus really excelling to this level?
Well, the morale around campus is just unbelievable. And just around town, it's just a buzz, and it was obviously when we did well back in the fall, there was the same kind of buzz. But, I think it's a good thing for everybody. Everybody feels good right now, and so I'm hoping we can just ride that. The sand volleyball, men's indoor volleyball can ride that, baseball, softball, into more victories, and then just carry it on to football. I think we can do this, and everybody believes now that Hawaii can be on the map, and it's just been a great feeling this last couple weeks.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to. Head coach Dave Shoji, thanks for taking time. We'll send it back up to you, Scott and Lisa.
All right, thanks a lot, Ryan. Let's now take a look at the McDonald's match summary. This is flight number 5, an easy win for the Hawaii duel, 21-10 and 21-12. In flight number 4, the only loss so far by Hawaii as they dropped a 21-12 and 23-21, a little extra sand time in the second set as Holman and Maloney take that one. But Hawaii regrouped in flight number 3. Wasn't easy, but they won in 3, 21-15, 17-21, and 15-12. Shuck and Rooks with the victory. And, of course, the match you just watched live in 2, Spieler and Maglio take care of work, 21-15, 21-17, the score. So Hawaii leads 3-1 in terms of match sets. And the next match, of course, is the flight number 1, the duo of Nikki Taylor and Lara Schreiber. And we got a chance to talk to Coach Hall about those two.
When they serve Nikki, we have arguably the best attacker in collegiate sand volleyball. You know, she's shown that indoor and she shows it on the beach. And then Lara is, I would say, the best setter in college volleyball. She's a hand setter. She's true to it. She'll do it in windy conditions. She'll do it off the net. She actually hand sets, which is a rare quality for the women's beach volleyball. So I think essentially that's a really good combination. Now, if they serve Lara, conversely, she's still big. She's 6 foot, 6'1", and Nikki will hand set her really well. So I see them as like almost a prototype FIVB international team. They have the side out abilities like no other. But they have to defend, and that's part of the game. And I think they're getting better at it. But their offense is pretty awesome.
Well, those are some pretty high compliments from head coach Jeff Hall about both Nikki Taylor and Laura Schreiber.
Well, Laura Schreiber, a 6-foot sophomore, truly a beach player, went 17-6 last season playing in the number 4-5 slot. And now all of a sudden she's moved up the ladder to play with Nikki Taylor at the number 1 slot. And again, they were number 2, and they've kind of been rotating between. But this team is a very big team, but Laura plays some great defense.
Well, she's out of Germany. She played on the German beach junior national team, was a silver medalist in 2012 in the U18 Youth European Championship. So she has a lot of international experience. And, of course, we've seen what Nikki Taylor's been able to do the last handful of years here in Manoa, 2-time AVCA All-American.
And interestingly enough, Nikki Taylor actually played with Katie Spieler 2 seasons ago. So it's interesting that the coaching staff has not put them back together, because I find that sometimes the experience with partnerships is huge.
Now, they've moved Taylor and Schreiber to flight number 1. Does that strengthen both the first and second flight? What's the reasoning you think behind that?
Well, I think there's, it's really a duel, and so it's not who your number 1 team is necessarily. You're going for the overall win, not just one win. So I think maybe this gives them more opportunities to win at the number 1 and number 2 position.
Alrighty, there you see a look at a couple of the Nebraska players. That's Katie Rolfzen, first team All-American this past year, indoor for the Cornhuskers, of course, winning the national championship with a sweep over the University of Texas, and her teammate is Kelly Hunter. She was the starting setter on the indoor team.
And those two, it's interesting, if you're thinking that Katie Rolfzen is looking familiar, it's because her twin sister Amber just played in the previous match. And they are not identical, according to them, but they sure look
They sure
identical.
look alike, don't they? First serve, and we're underway here in flight number 1. Schreiber dug up by Rolfzen, one hand saved by Hunter. It'll be popped high in the air, free ball for Hawaii. Taylor from the left side, and they will call Schreiber with a double contact.
And that's what Jeff Hall was sharing earlier, that Schreiber will use her hands, and let's see how much she does it, because the up ref has now established she's going to be happy with her whistle when she pulls out her hands.
Well, Rolfzen and Hunter, not only teammates, obviously, indoor for the Cornhuskers, but they played on the same high school team in Nebraska as well.
And that's where it's a definite advantage. Again, these two young ladies have been playing since high school together, and again, knowing one another.
And there you see Kelly Hunter, whose mom played on the Nebraska volleyball team in 1977 to 1980. Her dad played in the Boston Red Sox organization.
And they actually made the trip out here to Hawaii. They're here in the stands watching and wanted to know how to send the feed back.
Oh, was that her mom that was talking
her
earlier?
mom.
Okay. Yeah, we got a chance to meet her mother. Wanted to say, hey, we got friends and family back in Nebraska. Want to check this out online. What do we do?
That's right. So she sent them the link, and I'm sure they're watching right now.
So we say aloha to all of you watching on the internet late at night in Nebraska, where right now it's about 75 degrees. But Dave showed you, by the way, always does wear a sweater. He's always cold.
It's freezing.
He's always freezing. Bump set left side. Nikki Taylor crushes the coconut.
And you got to wonder if that was a mistake serve, because I really don't think that they want to go after Nikki Taylor. She is offensively the real deal.
So it's 2 serving. And what happened now? Taylor thought she was going to serve, but maybe, I'm not sure what
I
happened.
believe there was a net called, and she was a little shocked herself. She said, "Are you calling that on me?"
So 4-1 Huskers here early in set number 1. Taylor with it, and she'll power it off the block attempt. And down.
And interesting enough, Rolfzen went right back to Nikki Taylor.
Taylor jump serves it, gets it in. There's an ace. You don't see a lot of jump servers like Nikki Taylor at sand or in beach volleyball. And I think we're going to take a look again where we were wondering what happened on that big swing by Taylor. And yes, her right hand did catch the top of the tape.
Yeah. And that's the great camera angle that we get to see. She did hit the tape, and is a great call by the down ref.
So Nikki back to serve again. They switch sides at the 7-point mark. So she'll serve into the wind. The wind didn't do any help with that one. It went way long and out of bounds.
You know, Nikki has a wicked serve. She gets in a going on that thing. She can score points really easily.
Schreiber, the two-hand set for Taylor. Yes. It just looks odd seeing a two-hand set as opposed to the bump, which you see the majority of the time.
You do. You really do not see a lot of hand setting. Most commonly because it's inconsistent, it's a judgmental call, but also because of the wind conditions.
Hunter, she'll go cross court, cuts it down for the point.
Kelly Hunter, 5'11". She's set her team to a national championship. She was on the all-tourney team.
Well, Hunter and Rolfzen, this duo right here, played together a year ago, and they went 8-3 in their limited schedule. We mentioned earlier that Nebraska trying to cut it cross court, unable to get it to fall over the net is Taylor. But you mentioned they only play about a 2-week schedule.
They have a very limited schedule. They're on a 9-day road trip right now. This is their spring break. They will leave here on Tuesday, I believe, and head to Los Angeles, where they have a few matches lined up there.
Taylor gets it down past the diving Rolfzen. That really is more for cross-training, and obviously it's paid off dividends. Nebraska winning the indoor national championship. All their players are indoor players, and mainly because where they're located, there aren't a lot of beach volleyball teams in the Midwest. Not yet, at least. That hit into the net by Rolfzen. And so until that happens, economically, it doesn't make sense to put a lot of revenue into this sport.
That's right. And where they're at, they use it as a cross-training, and they seem to be holding their own. When you think that they only played 4 sand days before they came out to Hawaii, talking to the players, that's what they shared with me. They're doing a great job. You got USC and Pepperdine that are full-time sand volleyball, and Hawaii that splits players between indoor and outdoor. So it's still in its growing years.
But it's grown to the point now where it is a recognized NCAA sport.
That's right.
First time ever this year. Bad received by Nikki Taylor, and that's going to be an ace.
And let's see if they go back to her, if Hunter goes back to her. The golden rule, if you serve somebody and you get an ace, you stay on them. You go right back at them.
Absolutely, and she does. Schreiber will bump it up this time for Taylor. Taylor takes a big swing cross court and misses.
And Taylor with a few unforced errors right now, and Nebraska really going after Taylor, picking on her a little bit.
So the two teams will sit down for a break. Let's take a look again at this swing by Taylor.
Nikki Taylor, I know she's going to bounce back. She will be very frustrated with herself. She really holds a high standard. She loves the sand game. She knows what she needs to do. And
we saw what the beach or the sand volleyball from a year ago did for Nikki Taylor indoors, and she was just terrific. How she was not named a first-team All-American, to me, is amazing. All right, let's check out now the first Hawaiian Bank top 3. It's Hawaii career matches played, and there you see Katie Spieler by a large margin, followed by Nikki Taylor and Brittany Tiggs, who wrapped up her career last year, but is here in attendance tonight. Saw her down on the seats. Well, there she is.
Yeah, she just flew in from Australia. She shared that she had went down there and played in some sand tournaments, played as many as she possibly could, and flew in to see her teammates, and was kind of shocked that they're all going to be leaving tomorrow night. Wanted to spend time with her old teammates.
Well, they were happy to see her. She had a terrific career here at UH.
And so she was Nikki Taylor's partner last year.
10-6 Nebraska here in the opening set. Bumped up to Taylor. What will she do? She'll take a big swing. Nice dig by Hunter. Chase down. And they'll be freed over. Hawaii again. Schreiber, the bump, left side. Taylor cross court. Dug over pass. Taylor gets it. Jousted the net. Pushed over. Saved by Nebraska. Rolfzen with the roll. And it falls down. Nice shot by Katie Rolfzen.
And a great decision by Katie Rolfzen, seeing it after a couple of hard-driven balls by Nikki Taylor, taking something off with the roll shot.
Well, Katie Rolfzen, one of the very best outside hitters in all the country in the indoor game. There's a swing that goes long by Taylor. Taylor really struggling here in this opening set.
You know, I don't think that she's used to seeing the serves. All weekend watching her play down at Queens Beach, most of the balls were being served to Lara Schreiber.
Taylor again. She finds, nope, she hits it out of bounds. Another point, and a number of hitting errors now by Nikki Taylor. Well, she's one of those that's had to go back and forth between outdoor and indoor. 6-0 run now for Nebraska, but she's been, she probably doesn't know where she's at right now. There's going to be an ace. Schreiber hesitated, then decided to try to receive that serve, and it goes off the hands and out of bounds.
And look to Hawaii to try to slow things down here. That's just too many unanswered points. Quite a scoring run right now by Nebraska. 7 points.
Schreiber, Taylor tries to play it off the net. It is played over and then bumped over for a kill by Hunter. Well played by Kelly Hunter and Nebraska as they lead big here in set number 1. There are maybe some future men's volleyball players. They don't have a beach for the men yet, but maybe by the time those two youngsters grow up, there will be. Back to action. Hawaii needs to regroup. Too many unforced errors here in this opening set by UH. Freed over by Taylor. Bumped up for Rolfzen. Hops it over the top. A net violation on Taylor to boot. And Nebraska running away with this opening set. A real surprise by maybe not Nebraska leading, but by the score.
Well, Kelly Hunter is really putting a lot of pressure. She is serving really tough. Maybe she got that from her dad, who was actually an athlete with the Red Sox organization for a couple of years. But she's putting serious heat on this serve. Hawaii has to pass, take care of that first contact.
Schreiber is going to be removed by Rolfzen. And everything going the Huskers' way here in this opening set. That's 10 straight points for Nebraska.
And how do you slow it down? Ball control and communication. Here you see Nikki Taylor and her partner not really communicating much with one another.
Schreiber goes cross court. Does she get it in? She does. And that ends the very long scoring drought for the Rainbow Wahine duo.
And right now, really what they've got to do is they've got to find some momentum. They've got to get some energy on their side of the court.
Yeah, it's unlikely they're going to win this first set, but you want to get some momentum going into the next set. Taylor bumps it up for Schreiber. Schreiber looking for the back row, but goes wide and out of bounds. And just, that's kind of what it's been like, just a lot of unforced errors.
And they're just not in what we call system. Things are not going their way. Lots of unforced errors.
Rolfzen serves it in for the ace. No real communication in the back row. They kind of looked at each other and landed smack dab between them in the back row.
And that's what they call the husband and wife serve.
That's
right down the middle. And, you know, somebody's got to identify. She's serving from the middle court, so somebody's got to call that ball early.
Taylor on the second contact is dug up by Rolfzen. She'll take the hit into the back row down the line. It's good.
And it's almost like they're just not making any errors. They are flawless right now. Nebraska doing a nice job. And again, these two players played last year together as well and went to high school together.
Yeah, they know each other a little bit, don't they?
Yeah.
Imagine that high school. Rolfzen twins and Hunter as well. And they all were top 50 recruits coming out of high school.
And the twins actually played together part of a season. They did not have a very successful record playing together. Sometimes, I can speak from experience, playing with your twin doesn't always mean you know each other well, that you're a good team together.
Well, you see the Flight 2 members of Nebraska getting a little bite to eat after their match earlier. Hawaii's already won the duel. They're up 3 matches to 1, but of course you'd like to pick up a victory, kind of the cherry on top of the sundae. Dumped over, nice dig by Taylor, freed over by Schreiber. Here come the Cornhuskers. Bumped up, Hunter, rejected by Taylor.
Nikki Taylor playing some defense and blocking as well. Here on this last play, we see her up there, the one-arm Kong block.
Is that from King Kong? Is that why they call that?
Yep, that's why they call it.
Come on, you're good.
Rolfzen for the win, and she gets it. And Nebraska looks very impressive here in flight number 1, taking the opening set over Hawaii.
OC Sports, presented on Oceanic Time Warner Cable, is sponsored by Straub and Hawaii Honda Dealers.
Well, it was all Cornhuskers in that opening set. We'll see if Hawaii can rebound. Set number 2 coming up next. Back in Manoa, Hawaii looks strong in flight number 2. Not so much in that first set in flight number 1, but we did talk to Jeff Hall, the head coach, about how good can this Hawaii team be this year.
Absolutely. This is a national championship caliber team. We have the ability, we have the talent, we have the depth. I think we definitely are ready. We have to, get a little lucky along the way. We have to make some great plays along the way, and we have to stay healthy. All those things matter. There's a trickle-down effect if something happens, an injury here or there, or a sickness, or somebody just struggles. But I think we're in line for it. I think we have the talent as long as everything kind of goes our way.
Well, I'd have to agree with Jeff Hall. Hawaii, of course, preseason number 3. They're number 5 right now. We've seen the defending national champions in USC. Hawaii's lost twice, but it wasn't like they were blown out. But they have to get a little bit better, I think, if they're going to win it all. Would you agree?
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think this is just a showmanship of things changing a little bit, but also Hawaii's had a busy week. I'm not making excuses, but they have played a lot of volleyball.
Hawaii lost that opening set 21-9. 11 of the points for the Cornhuskers came off Hawaii hitting and service errors.
And that, again, unfortunately, those are unforced errors, but that's a giveaway. You're giving that other team those points.
Well, a little bit of a different look here to begin set number 2. The ace has to love Hawaii.
Hawaii will be attacking more of the middle, not only on the serve like we just saw there, but also on their offense. Head coach Jeff Hall instructing his players that when they don't have a good set or when they are off the net, especially in transition, to aim for the middle of the court.
Rolfzen, Hunter to her right, diving dig by Schreiber, overpasses. Back to Rolfzen, down the right line. Does she get it in? She does. Got that tape on that sideline, and it worked.
I'll tell you, though, tape line shots, that line shot goes down. If you can perfect that thing, it's just too much distance for the defender to cover.
Nice receive by Taylor. She gets it back, cross court, yes.
And there's some communication and some smiles. I think they just have to let that first game go and move on.
You have to have a short memory, right? As an athlete in general, you have to have a short memory.
Selective memory.
And head coach Jeff Hall really talking to Nikki Taylor about moving her feet, especially on serve receive. He said that because of her struggles in the passing department, that sort of curtailed to other areas of her game.
That serve is going to lead to an overpass and a Taylor kill. This is the Nikki Taylor we've come to expect.
Nikki Taylor going over on 2. Once again, catching the defender, the block, late to the ball. And Rolfzen late as well.
4-1 Hawaii. Taylor with the jump serve. Rattles, falls down for the ace.
And getting a little bit of luck off of the top of the tape on that one.
Well, Hawaii will take it after that opening set. And that's the power of the serve. And it rattles and rolls and falls down. Second ace for Taylor. That one into the net, though. Service error, 7-point mark, combined points. The two teams will switch sides.
Nikki Taylor going for the serve there, and after what I'm noticing with her, she'll get an ace and then she'll miss the next one instead of maybe backing up, taking something off of it, if you will, and making sure she keeps the next ball in.
It's interesting. I was talking to Jeff Hall before the match, and we were talking about the wind. The last couple of days, the wind has been really whipping around here. Not so much tonight, and he was a little disappointed as Rolfzen gets that kill because he said the wind is our advantage because Nebraska has played mainly and practiced indoors. They haven't had to experience the wind that much where they practice in those conditions on a daily basis.
They're in a controlled environment, absolutely, and Hawaii loves the wind. It is their friend. They get the winds up here, and they practice again down at Queens often as well.
Up near the net, Schreiber cross court and she crushes the coconut. Would you call the wind the third woman?
Yeah, literally. I always say, you know, and again on this replay, let's look Schreiber. She just nails this ball. The best hit of the evening so far.
Back to Rolfzen. She goes cross court. Rolfzen with the kill.
In this second match of the evening, you're going to see a little bit more physicalness. You're not seeing as many high line shots and cut shots because you have bigger players out here.
And there's an ace by Hunter. Reaching low was Nikki Taylor. Couldn't receive it well.
And again, Hunter serving from that middle back position, serving right down the middle. Very confusing. Somebody needs to identify once again early whose ball this is going to be.
Schreiber off the high set, goes cross court. Good job.
And Nikki Taylor pulling out her hands. And again, because there's limited wind tonight, they can do this. Schreiber doing the cut shot, working the ball well around the big block.
Taylor flips it, rips it, popped up, over to Hunter. Hunter Opoki off the block, then punched over, saved by Rolfzen, then knocked over and down by Hunter. Good awareness there by Kelly Hunter.
Kelly Hunter doing a good job attacking the ball on two. Only 5'11", the smallest player on the court so far this evening in this match.
Taylor. Poked over and down by Schreiber. You saw that time, though, where there was a bit of a gust of wind where Nikki Taylor set it, and the ball blew towards the net. And I thought that was a good job by Schreiber recognizing it.
And she did recognize it, and she does the pokey, rescuing that ball, going deep over the big block.
And the wind is definitely picking up here in this second set. Again, the wind's primarily coming from the mountain to the ocean. So right now, Hawaii will be serving into the wind.
Schreiber serve, knuckled over, bumped over to Hunter. Hunter off the hands of the block.
And you see Nebraska mixing it up a little bit. Hunter going behind the setter for a little play, if you will. You don't see a lot of that in beach volleyball, but it's nice that they're moving the ball around, confusing the blocking.
Taylor bump set it this time. Schreiber dug up nicely by Hunter. Back to Hunter. Takes a big swing. The net helps Hawaii dig it up. Up near the net, the bump set. And the block by Hunter. Schreiber was kind of at a bad angle. Couldn't get much on that one. And Hunter rejected her. First tie of this second set. Nebraska winning the opener 21-9. Hawaii regains the advantage on the service error.
And I believe that's her first service error on the evening. She mixed it up a little, going from the right back instead of the center back. Hunter's sister was also a volleyball player.
Yeah, she comes from a very athletic family, obviously. When you look at the gene pool of both her mother and her father. Rolfzen, nice, takes a bit off of that one. Taylor from her knees hits it over. She pops back up, bumped over to Hunter. Saved by Schreiber, but then goes out of bounds.
And Nikki Taylor doing a nice job, playing some great defense. You know, I don't know how tall she is on her knees, but that's a great swing away.
Well, when she's on her knees, she's the size of a libero.
Which she just played the previous point.
Yeah. Taylor on the second contact. Smart. Saw the puka in the back row. Took advantage.
And she is also, when you hit that ball over on two, it really does take the pressure off of the person who's receiving the serve.
Schreiber, quick serve. Hunter bumps it. Rolfzen takes a swing. Gets it in.
The All-American swinging away. Great setting. I mean, she's got the All-American honorable mention, Kelly Hunter, setting her.
Should find out if Dave Shoji's going to schedule Nebraska indoor anytime soon.
Well, these two gals are, Rolfzen is a senior. Kelly's a sophomore.
Sure, the hit goes long. So at the break, Nebraska with the 11-10 lead. They're already up 1-0. Well, after a one-sided opening set, we got ourselves a ball game here in set number 2, Lisa. 11-10, Nebraska leads.
And we got ourselves a little bit of a breeze as well.
Huskers will serve, get it over. Taylor will bump it to Schreiber. Nice dig by Hunter. Back to Hunter, and she'll cut it nicely to her left and down. That was terrific.
That was textbook is what that was. That cut shot just trickled over the top of the net. There was no way to defend that ball.
No, absolutely not. Quick serve over by Hunter. Schreiber from the right side. Dug up by Hunter. They'll go back to Hunter. Pokes it over, but out of bounds to her left. That was kind of a nifty move they made right there.
Yeah, and again, that comes from playing together for a little while. She's probably audibleizing. I didn't hear it, saying back or straight up behind you, something like that. But again, it catches the defense off balance.
These are the top flights for both schools, Hawaii and Nebraska. That serve long by the length of a ball. Remember, Hawaii gave 11 points away in that opening set on service errors and unforced hitting errors.
They're trying to pull themselves back in this match.
Wind really gusting now. Poked over and down in the back row by Nikki Taylor.
Nikki showing her veteranship, if you will, on the sand court. This is her 3rd season in sand volleyball. She's a 2-time All-American in beach volleyball. Last year playing with Brittany Teagues.
Schreiber taken nicely by Hunter. Rolfzen goes to Hunter and hits it out of bounds. And so you see the Cornhuskers making some unforced errors. And that's a 4th time we've been tied in this set.
And let's see if Schreiber goes back to Hunter.
You would, right?
I absolutely would.
And she does. Backpedaling was Taylor. She digs it up. Back to Taylor at the net, and she puts it down with authority.
Schreiber not afraid to use her hands, setting Nikki Taylor what we call a 50-50 right up there on the net.
And head coach Jeff Hall describes Schreiber as their best hand setter on this team. He thinks that she's actually more comfortable using her hands than actually bump setting.
Bumped up. Rolfzen, the roll, and it falls. Well, the two teams now will switch sides, tied at 14 here in set number 2. Hawaii, of course, hoping to push this to a 3rd set, and if they do, then you just play to 15. And there you see John Cook, the very, very successful indoor coach for Nebraska. He's been there a long time. He never really shows much emotion, does he? Even when you're watching indoor matches, he's a man of very few emotions.
He's the number 6 all-time winningest coach in NCAA history.
And it goes over and down. Nikki Taylor talking to the up ref about something. I'm not sure. Maybe she got confused or heard something, believed something happened, but Nebraska kept on playing. Check this out. Dug up and then pushed over by Rolfzen into the back row. Or excuse me, that was Hunter.
It looks like she's saying that she was either into the net or over the net. I'm not sure what her argument is, but she did not change the referee's mind.
Got to keep playing. So Rolfzen lollipops it over. 2-hand set for Schreiber. Cross-court dug up nicely. Bumped back to Rolfzen. She'll roll it over. Diving dig kept alive by Hawaii. Can Schreiber? No. She cannot get to the ball and get it over.
And, you know, she's had a lot of success with that little roll shot. Katie Rolfzen doing a nice job just rolling it in front of the defenders.
Well, she is an outside hitter indoors, and probably occasionally has to use that roll shot. There's a kill by Schreiber off the hands. Well, you can hear the crowd in the background. They're trying to pump up this duo of Taylor and Schreiber, trying to extend it to a 3rd set if possible. Hawaii has already won 3 of the first 4 matches, so they've won this dual meet. Hunter takes a big swing. Nice dig by Schreiber. Bumped back to her. She hits it, gets it down.
And Laura Schreiber doing a nice transition job. She took some heat, and then she kills the ball for yet another point to tie it up.
I believe that's the 6th time we've been tied in this set, and it is. Schreiber out of Freiburg, excuse me, serves it over. Off the block, 1-hand dig, punched over by Taylor. Here come the Cornhuskers. Rolfzen looking for the open area. There's Schreiber to dig it up. Back to Schreiber. Goes crossword off the hands. Diving save attempt. Not in time for Rolfzen. Good effort. And Hawaii takes the lead.
And Schreiber doing a great job defensively and transitioning the ball well. Cornhuskers really hustling.
17 serving, 16 down, 1-0. Schreiber's got to get this serve over. She does. Hunter to Rolfzen. Rolfzen dug up by Schreiber, turning around and hitting it and getting it in is Nikki Taylor.
And that's that option on 2 play. Nikki Taylor taking full advantage of a good defensive move by Schreiber.
And that'll force Nebraska to call a timeout. Look at the celebration right there. They're starting to feel good about one another. And they're new to each other in terms of being partners on the beach, aren't they?
They definitely are. There's been some partners switching around and changes, and it just takes time. Right now, this team looks completely different than they did about 20 minutes ago in game 1, where they just were not communicating, making a lot of unforced errors, and they just could not seem to get anything going.
You play professionally on the beach. I'm sure you had a number of partners throughout the years you played. How long does it take to really gel with a partner?
You know, that's a great question. It takes time. And the longer you're together with the partner, if there's a chemistry, if you will, the better chances you have at winning. USC does that very well. Their partnerships, Sarah Hughes and Kelly Claus, playing the last 2 years together. They've just spent so much time together, they become familiar.
So the timeouts are very quick in beach volleyball. As you notice, Hawaii will serve up by a pair. There you get a good look at Schreiber. Gets the serve over and in for the ace. Hunter thought it was going to go long. It did not. It landed in, and Hawaii with a 3-point lead on a 5-0 scoring run and 2 points away from forcing this to a 3rd set. Here we get a good look at that one. Lands inside the end line. No problem.
And that's a home court advantage, if you will, serve. She was serving from corner to corner into the wind, and that ball just dropped right in that back slot.
Schreiber into the net. Don't want that when you're this late into a set.
Schreiber only a sophomore. Again, last year played in the number 4 and 5 slot.
Schreiber, Taylor bumps it back to her. It's tight. Pushed over down the line. One-hand dig. Kept alive by the Huskers. Freed over by Hunter. Here comes UH on the second contact. It's Taylor off the hands of the block and down. And Hawaii now a point away from evening up this match. And a winner-take-all set number 3. Great recovery after Hawaii really got ambushed in that opening set, 21-9. Taylor unleashes the serve. Bumped up near the net, off the block and out of bounds.
Kelly Hunter, knowing that she was actually trap set there, just tools the block, hits it purposefully into the hands of the block.
That serve goes long, and on the service error, Hawaii ties it up, taking the second set 21-18. We'll be back with the third. And there you see some of the members of the beach volleyball team. Maybe some familiar faces too. There you see Manu Olivao. And Nebraska won the coin toss. They'll serve to begin this 3rd set. Played a 15, got a win by 2. The shot down the line is good by Taylor. And Hawaii draws first blood in this 3rd set.
So when Nebraska took the serve, it means that Hawaii took the side. You either get side or you get serve in sand volleyball.
So Hawaii took the win to their back.
Yeah, very interesting.
Schreiber gets the serve over. Hunter back to Rolfzen. Left hands it over and too far.
One of the things about that is that the court outside is actually smaller than the indoor court. So
I hope so. There's only 2 people out there.
Well, it did not used to be.
Was that right?
No, it used to be the same exact dimensions.
That'd be a lot of acreage to cover by yourself, or with just another person. We'll see what happens here. We get a block by Taylor.
And definitely the momentum is changed. to the University of Hawaii side.
And talk about the change in Nikki Taylor. She was all over the place in that first set, really struggling to get her shots in. And since that first set ended, she has been very good. Schreiber serves it cross court. Bumped up to Hunter. Hunter takes a big swing, and she hits it out.
And now they've switched sides, actually. It's amazing. A lot of unforced errors again. Hawaii out again. This third game only played to 15. Hawaii really getting out to a great start.
Schreiber ready, serves. They'll bump it to Hunter. Hunter dug up by Schreiber. Taylor bump set. Schreiber off the block and down. And they'll switch at 5 because we only play at 15, and so they'll switch sides. And take a look from our net count.
Kelly Hunter being used, probably should not have elected to block on that offset. So Schreiber just bettering the ball and tooling purposely off the hands.
So Hawaii now will be serving into the wind as it picks up down the Manoa Valley. Hunter, cross court, nice save by Schreiber. The bump set is overpassed, and taking advantage is Hunter. She knocks it down.
Interestingly enough, Hunter doing more blocking duties this game. We saw her more defending earlier.
Tied at a set apiece. The winner of this set wins. Katie Rolfzen. Schreiber. Taylor on the second contact. Hits it too long. Had the right idea, I think, but couldn't get it inside the end line.
Definitely the right idea, and you gotta love that Nikki Taylor is being aggressive to the ball, going after it.
Schreiber, two hands, sets Taylor. Taylor will be roofed.
And again, really interesting, Kelly Hunter doing the blocking duties. You'd think that Katie Rolfzen would come up being 6'3" to the net.
But that was a real tight set to the net.
Very tight.
Down the left line, the serve, it's going to be an ace, and here come the Huskers. And so Hawaii will call a timeout after jumping out to a 5-0 lead, a 4-0 run now by Nebraska.
And this is when you almost start to think, is there really a side advantage? And Nebraska scored their points early on, or didn't score points, excuse me, early on. Hawaii did on this side, and now Nebraska coming back. So maybe that is the right side of the court.
It could be. All the points have been coming from one side of the court, which is good for Hawaii, I guess, in the long run. Well, Hawaii, after tonight, will go back to their dorm rooms or their apartments. They'll pack, get a good night's rest, jump on a red-eye, head all the way to Florida for some exciting beach volleyball over there Thursday through Saturday. Dual matches against Tulane, Stetson, Florida Atlantic, Florida State, and Florida International.
And in talking with head coach Jeff Hall about the road trip, he said that it was important for them to get a sense of the East Coast teams because he realizes that coming up in the playoffs and when the tournament time comes around, that a lot of times they're not used to seeing these East Coast teams. He wants his team to be familiar with who they're playing.
I'll bet you this is the only job Ryan Kalei-Suji's ever had where he can walk barefoot. Walking in the sand. That's awesome.
And it's nice to do.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And Nebraska has tied it up on 5. They've gone on their own 5-0 run. Two teams will switch sides. And now Hawaii's on the good side.
Now Hawaii's on the good side. Let's see if they can get back in. They've just gave up 5
so
points.
If it stays true on the next switch, Hawaii will be up 10-5.
That's right.
Taylor, Schreiber. Taylor cross court. It stays. It's still like that. 11 straight points from one side.
That's amazing. Nikki Taylor doing a nice job working around the block, just putting some serious heat on the ball.
Well, she's going to win most battles when it's 1v1. There's a rip of a serve. It goes long and wide and out of bounds.
Nikki really going for it, trying to get some topspin on that ball, going after Kelly Hunter.
And the first time in this set that the team that Hawaii's on that side doesn't score. Breaks the streak. Hawaii will try to start a new one, and they can't as that hit by Schreiber goes long. And Nebraska has taken their first lead in this third stanza.
And let's see Kelly Hunter with her wicked serve down the middle here.
Long it goes. So the broadcaster bocce works.
Again.
Tied at 7. Schreiber likes that back right corner to serve cross court. That one goes too far. So both teams now trying to get their serves in. They'll have to switch sides.
And in this shorter version, this third game, they play to 15, so the side changes actually become multiples of 5 versus the earlier games where they switch on multiples of 7.
Did you like playing in the wind or having the wind at your back?
I always like the wind at my face.
Okay.
Believe it or not. Yes, in it. You want it with you.
Taylor. Schreiber goes cross court, cuts it down for the point.
And that was one heck of a sharp angle. If there was a 10-foot or a 3-meter line in sand volleyball, which there is not, that was on about the 5.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a difficult shot to make, to get it to fall in. Tied again. Taylor, good serve. Bumped over to Hunter. Hunter to her left, gets it down.
Hunter just getting up there after a great pass off of a tough jump serve. No block. Nobody went up with her.
Doesn't hit the ball like a setter, does she?
Oh.
What will Taylor do? She'll bump it. And a quick hit by Schreiber.
And I like that tempo on that set. It's a little quicker. It's not as high. And Schreiber is quick, very, very athletic. I think she'd probably do better with a quicker tempo set more often.
5th tie of this set. Deep breath by Schreiber. Gets the whistle and the okay. Goes cross court off the hands of Hunter and out of bounds. That's an ace. See some of the students in attendance. A lot of them have left already because spring break started.
That's right.
Yeah, so there aren't as many students on campus as normal. Or normally there is. Another nice serve. That's going to be shanked. And that will be another ace. Back-to-back service aces by Schreiber.
Schreiber changing sides. She's done a great job serving deep into the wind over Kelly Hunter. Let's see if she takes something off of this but goes back to Kelly Hunter.
4 aces now for Lara Schreiber, German national. Hunter handles that one. Bump back to her. Cross court. Gets it in.
Hunter again, an explosive attack on the ball. The setter, All-American.
I think every player on Nebraska's indoor team was an All-American, right?
The national champions, reigning national champions, the best in the nation.
Rainbow Wahine didn't do too shabby, got to the Elite 8. Schreiber, Taylor on second contact, hits it into the tape.
And the idea was right, but I don't think that her feet were totally underneath her on that ball.
Our 6th tie here in the 3rd. Remember, you got to win by 2, so it doesn't matter if we get to 15 if it's 15-14. Schreiber picks her spot, finds it on the sand. There you see the teammates ready to celebrate.
They have had one heck of a long week of volleyball. They're cheering these guys on. They look a little fatigued.
That one looked like it might have gone out. Bumped up near the net for Hunter. She pokies, it's blocked, saved, then hit and put down by Rolfzen.
Well, that was a broken play if I've ever seen one. Very odd play, but Rolfzen doing a nice job again. 2-time All-American, first team this year, All-American outside hitter.
Schreiber, Taylor bumps it back to Schreiber. Off the hands of Rolfzen, one-arm save, but it goes out of bounds. Off of Hunter. And the 2 teams will switch sides again now as the combined total is 25. Every 5 points they switch sides to make it fair for both teams.
And it seems like both of these teams completely battling, giving it their all, scrambling all over. Nebraska is, you know, the little sand fleas over there. They've got sand all over them.
Quickly back to action. Schreiber with 4 aces already. Floats that one over. Pokeyed. Diving save by Hawaii. Taylor gets back up. Slaps it over. Hunter turns around. Dug up by Schreiber. Can Schreiber put this one down? Off the hands. Overpass, and it lands on the Hawaii side for a dig kill for Nebraska. Nothing you can do about that.
There's nothing. That was almost defend thyself defense, if you will. She was running in and actually just protected her face. And Nikki Taylor just kind of chuckled like,
What
really?
can you do? Yeah, what can you do? Stuff happens. 13-13. This has been fun. Taylor thought about it, then bump set Schreiber. Schreiber dug up by Rolfzen. Hunter will give it back to her on the right side. And she is roofed by Taylor. And it's match point Hawaii.
And Nikki Taylor truly looking like she's having fun out there. She's so competitive. Not that Nebraska's not, believe me. You don't win a national championship and not be competitive.
Yeah, you won a couple of national championships. You know all about that.
Feisty.
So match point for UH. Taylor takes a big swing at that one, gets it to fall, and the East is the winner for Hawaii. Hawaii takes the third, 15-13, and they win it 2-1 over the University of Nebraska. And this is a good send-off after a long weekend of volleyball for the Rainbow Wahine as they get ready to fly to the East Coast in Florida.
Well, you just got to love the fight. They came back. They didn't play that first game well, and they really worked hard. And it shows that this team is ready to get on that plane and head out.
All right, it's time now for our players of the match. They're brought to you by Bank of Hawaii. And for Nebraska, it's Kelly Hunter. For Hawaii, from flight number 2, it's Emily Maglio. You see what Maglio did. She was terrific in that first televised match. 22 kills, 18 digs, a pair of blocks. And how about Kelly Hunter? A dozen kills, dozen digs, and 3 service aces. So Hawaii wins it 4-1 over the University of Nebraska. And you see Jeff Hall there talking to his teammates, and I'm sure congratulating them. Good, nice Sunday night of volleyball over a very good Nebraska squad.
Yeah, Nebraska, you know, kudos to them. They played some great volleyball. You got to remember, they don't train much in the sand, but I'll tell you what, they did a nice job.
And there you see Nebraska. I'm sure they enjoyed their time. It's not over yet. They get to fly over to California. They still get some more warm weather for another week or so. All right, let's go down onto the sand with Ryan Clay Suji and head coach Jeff Hall.
Hey, thanks, guys. Well, Jeff, what a battle that was. Talk to us about how you were able to get Nikki and Laura back into this match.
Well, we just talked about segmented thinking. Pass first, set first, hit. You know, sometimes they get too far ahead of a play, and we wanted to slow it down for them. And then they started passing really well, and they started setting each other, and then the rhythm started happening for them. And then their athleticism can shine. But if you're trying to force the play, it just, you know, it doesn't work.
All in all, looking at the day as a whole, a great win for you folks coming up here, beating Nebraska, a team that maybe not necessarily known for their sand game, but some great athletes overall. And your overall thoughts on the day today?
Well, hats off to them. They compete all the way down. They do have tremendous athletes. That's why they won a national championship. And it's the same girls, and they get to practice the beach, and they're pretty good at it. I'm kind of happy they only do it for 2 weeks, because if they practice longer, they'd be a lot tougher. But they're a good team, great athletes.
From this trip?
Well, a lot of just getting to know our opponent, you know, for the future. We really want to dial in and see the rest of the field, because, you know, probably 4 or 5 of those teams will be at the national tournament. It gives us an opportunity to go over there and travel and have a different time zone, play in that area, which is where the national championship is. So we're just looking forward to a long road trip. It'll be hard with great teams, but hopefully we come back with some wins.
Hey, Coach Jeff Hall, thank you so much. Best of luck to you. We'll send it back up to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. And here you see the final results from tonight's action. You see flight number 1, Hawaii winning 2-1. In flight number 2, Spieler and Maglio win it 2-0. And the rest of the way, Hawaii won the 3rd flight and the 5th flight. Nebraska took flight number 4 over Tucker and Long 2 sets to none. So overall, Hawaii with a good evening, a good effort against the University of Nebraska. Final thoughts, Lisa?
Well, it's been a heck of a week, and I think UH has grown a lot as a team and as individuals. I see good things ahead for them on this road trip.
All right, it's been a lot of fun. We appreciate you watching here this evening, Hawaii and Nebraska. Special thanks to our entire OC Sports crew. For Ryan Kalei Suji, for Lisa Strand Ma'a, I'm Scott Robbs. Until next time, bidding you aloha from the Ching Beach Volleyball Courts on the campus of the University of Hawaii at Manoa.